Hello and welcome to Super Switch Headz, the premier Nintendo podcast in all of the internet. My name is Matthew Stoner.
I'm Patrick Knisley.
And my name is David Howe.
Hey, and you're here listening to Super Switch Headz, and in this episode, we are going to talk about the best games of 2019.
That's right. It's our wrap-up.
It's been a great year of gaming.
It really has been.
Also, it's Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Today's Christmas.
If you celebrate Christmas, if not, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Solstice, or just another day.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is for
Happy
you.
25th of December, y'all.
Yeah.
Non-denominational.
Thank you for listening to us on Christmas.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I wonder if anyone is.
They are.
Do you think so?
Yeah, tens of people. Well, thank you, tens of people.
Yeah. We hope that you unwrapped some nice eShop cards.
Oh, yeah.
For your Christmas day. It's a good thing to get. That's a good stocking stuffer.
Yeah.
They were giving Christmas gift ideas on Christmas.
Make sure you go get this for next Christmas. But yeah, we're doing our wrap up of the year. We're going to be giving out our Golden Heads Awards for best games, Nintendo games of the year. I don't know if we've actually decided that we're calling them the Golden Heads, but
You just did.
yeah.
Yeah, they are now. Also in this episode, some news about Cadence of Hyrule, sales going on right now in specific regions. Right now, the North American region has some eShop sales, as well as some end of the year lists that Nintendo has for our playlist, where it counts the number of hours or games you play, just like Spotify does that every year.
Oh yeah, we're going to be talking about all that.
Yeah. So, like you said, Cadence of Hyrule got a surprise DLC the other day. An additional campaign called Octavo's Ode. I haven't played Cadence of Hyrule, though I just downloaded the demo because my wife has actually been saying she wants to play some rhythm games because that's sort of her thing. And I was like, well, maybe this. Though I think she might mean more like traditional rhythm games.
Yeah.
But I thought maybe I could,
Yeah.
But I just downloaded it. We haven't tried it yet.
I think I have 45 minutes into it, and I was bad.
Yeah, I
was so bad
also
at
didn't
it.
get very far into it. But I know a lot of my friends have played it all the way through and love that game. And this looks like a pretty hardy DLC as well, and it's free.
Yeah, it's I guess Octavo is the villain in the game, and this is a separate quest that you play as him. So that seems interesting. Always interesting when you can get a villain's side of things.
You could get to play as the famous Zelda villain Octavo. But that's cool. So if you have that game, check it out. You might as well. It's free.
And Luigi's Mansion 3, there is some analysts. He's on Twitter. I think his name is Benji. I'm pulling it up right now. Benji Sales on Twitter, who does some independent video game industry analysis, has been talking about Luigi's Mansion 3 sales. He's saying they're around 5 million, which is big. And I think it was him. It might have been another analyst that said recently they expect the game to sell over 10 million based on...
It's got really good legs, apparently.
Right. And I think to put that in perspective, like Matt, you always do for us, or you always... But what does that mean? Apparently, Luigi's Mansion 2 had 6 million total sales a lifetime. So it's already approaching that, and it's only been out for a month and a half or whatever. 2 months, maybe. So that's pretty cool. That game is doing really well.
It deserves it, too.
Yeah, I think that's right, because Luigi's Mansion 3 is a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the games sell really well based on name alone, like Mario, like Super Mario Party for Switch.
Right.
Sold really well.
But maybe doesn't deserve it.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't have the coat of polish and love that clearly went into Luigi's Mansion 3.
Yeah, that's
It's you can tell it was kind of and even with the support, it's getting DLC for Luigi's Mansion 3, and that Mario Party is the one game that people want DLC for from this year,
Right.
So so anyway, good for them.
Did you guys watch this? Nintendo of Australia put out a Labo ASMR video.
No, I didn't.
You didn't watch it?
Really?
Yeah. I mean, no, I did not watch
So
thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to Super Switch Headz.
Tell us all about that.
Well, I wish I had some cardboard here to gently rub together to tap
tap tap tap tap.
So Nintendo of Australia put out a Labo video where they just are putting the cardboard together of the fishing rod, but it's just like, enhanced or not enhanced, but like the sounds of the cardboard alone.
That's kind of cool. So you can hear like the bendy,
and the
sort of rubber bands and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's nice.
I watched a bit of it.
Yeah.
So do people watch ASMR videos to get horny or to fall asleep?
I don't know that it's either of those. Okay. I'm sure that there's people
I guess
that
I don't get it.
I'm sure there's people who do both of them, but I think that there allegedly are people that that like it stimulates them in a you know what I mean? Not always in a sexual way, I don't think.
Yeah, it stimulates like a I don't know. My buddy Tony, he watches a lot of ASMR videos, and he gets like this feeling on the top of his scalp,
like a tingle,
like a tingle.
I always just assumed that was God's presence.
You ever done one of those like head massagers?
Oh yeah, I do like that.
I think that's maybe akin to what. Like a tingle or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I've always just been like, what are you saying?
Why are you tapping on that glass?
I know, like, what the new Jumanji movie had an ASMR trailer.
What?
Yeah, it was like
Amazing.
the trailer for the movie, but everybody was like, we've got to get out of here.
Yo, you got to find the right ASMR trigger, I think is what they're called.
Okay.
Because they're...
This is like the first time I felt like really old on this podcast.
Yeah, there's like certain things like taps or rubbing,
right?
But like there is something like a binaural microphone that people will like rub and like scratch on. That like it's like great for me.
Well, either way, buy Labo. It didn't sell very well.
Yeah, this is not an ASMR podcast.
It's a last ditch effort.
Yeah, this is like the only thing that's going to sell more copies.
I will say that is one of the best part about it, though, the satisfaction of that cardboard rubbing against cardboard.
No, I mean, it is. I mean, that's the best part of Labo is building it, right?
Yes, I
like
agree.
the folding and the molding,
the folding,
and the bits and the dobs.
So yeah, we talked about last week. There was a winter sale announced for Europe. Well, they dropped the sale in North America as well. I think it started on. Well, it doesn't matter when it started. It's going on right now. I couldn't find official word on when it ends. Probably sometime after the
New Year. It would be after Christmas.
Like probably,
yeah.
You think it would be after Christmas or after January 1st?
I think it'll probably be as far as I've understood. It's through like the 30th of December or the 31st. So it'll be through December.
So don't wait too long. If there's games, there's a lot of games on sale.
Yeah, like all the Final Fantasy games are on sale. Not a bunch of first party ones. I think Nintendo might drop their own first party sale,
like right at Christmas.
And it's we're recording this before Christmas, so it's like it's probably out now because they want you to use those eShop cards you got in your stockings for something. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's a ton of third party games on sale. Like the new Assassin's Creed collection is already on sale.
Wow.
It's like 32 instead of 40 or something like that. Lots of great indie games. Yeah, check it out. There's someone in the Switch Headz group posted a link to Deku Deals.
Oh yeah, that's a good.
Which apparently is a way better way to browse the sale because there's like 700 games or something that are currently on sale. So
I have looked at that site before, but people always say it's better than looking at the eShop site.
Yeah,
it's called Deku Deals.
Like a
DEKU
scrub.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
And then Nintendo, taking a tip from Spotify, like you said, Matt, put out you can go log into your My Nintendo account on the web and see various stats about your number of like Switch usage this year, number of games played, number of hours played, most active days.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
Which all of mine were Fridays. I was like, I wonder what's up with that. And then most played games, and also how many gold points you collected if you were really on the edge of your seat about that.
Well, I guess
one.
you could just that just shows how much money you spent on the eShop.
It kind of does.
Yeah.
What were y'all's numbers? Do you want to talk about that? Yeah. I've got mine here. 47 games, 2,523 gold points. This is not in particular order. 713 hours. My most active day was August 23rd. I don't know what I was doing on that.
That's so weird.
On that day, but
August. What games came out?
I think I must have been playing. All of mine were Fridays in that range, and I think I was like watching. I honestly think I was watching Two Kids in a Coat,
and you were like playing
Mario Maker 2 while watching them for like several hours.
Yeah,
and then my most played games were Super Mario Maker 2, Smash Ultimate, and Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
Wow.
What do you guys?
A lot of Mario in your top.
Yes, a lot of Super.
I had 226 hours.
Wow.
25 games, and my most played games were Luigi's Mansion 3, Astral Chain, and Super Mario Maker 2.
There you go.
So I'm at 943 hours.
Nice. You win.
And 100 games even. That's what it says right now.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that. And that's not even counting like a lot of the games that I played from y'all's accounts.
The hours and the games.
Yeah, like Fire Emblem is not counted there. You know, Luigi's Mansion is not counted there. Astral Chain is not counted. Those were all like y'all's copies of those games that I played. So it's like, yeah, I guess I had quite a year. I was also like disabled this year. Was, like,
you don't need to justify it.
In a hospital for a while. So
people were posting on our Facebook group with higher numbers.
Yeah,
You're
they are
fine.
perfectly able-bodied.
Yeah.
I will say let's see, what was my number one day? June 28th. So
That was when you were in the hospital.
yeah, either in the hospital or like just getting out,
Just
and
getting
like
out,
being
yeah.
home for the first time in a while. And then October 7th and October 8th, which I don't really know what was happening on those days. But yeah, my top 5 games were Mario Maker 2, Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus, which is just always going to be in my top. Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, which I think was maybe because
Of us.
you guys were playing my copy of that game.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
and Picross 3, which is always the Picross S3.
Where's
And then, of
Tetris
course-
99?
No, I was saving it for last. Tetris 99, which is
Okay.
definitely up there. I've played a shit ton of that game, and we'll be talking about that game later in the episode.
Shout out to like some super Switch Head numbers in our Facebook group. Like Andrew McHugh is at 1,500 hours.
I think he
man.
won the group for hours.
And I think
played.
like 1,200 hours of that is Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. And then Ring Fit Adventure.
there was somebody else that had a shit ton of games played there too. I forget who.
Yeah. Just like a shout out to some unique games like Chris Taylor had. His most played games were Fairy Fencer F, Fantasy Star, and then Puzzle Quest.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
I've heard that Puzzle Quest game is a really good remake on the Switch. And that's pretty recent too, so he's put in a lot of time.
So I think I have to say that it's cool that they did this, but I wish that some of these stats were just available at all times.
In system?
Yeah, it's like, why
yeah.
can't I? If you're tracking all this,
Yeah.
why can't I see it?
Well, the Wii U had a really great tracker.
Where'd
in
it go?
Yeah, like, and the 3DS did as well. Where it
Yeah.
would like track every single day's playtime, like everything you've done, and show it off. I think like that's something we should probably talk about in our end of year review of the Switch. Is like there are so many features missing from the OS
It's
that
very-
that have not come yet that we just would expect to have by
It's
now.
very clear to me, I think, and maybe this you agree or disagree, but like that they just want this to be like fast, and they want all the fat to not be there.
Yeah.
So that you can just play a game instantly and pick up and play.
Yeah.
And that's their whole deal. But I do wish, even if it was like through an app or something, that I
It's
could
on, like,
see
little
this
game
stuff.
icon thing. Yeah.
Like there was,
To like compare the data with your friends.
Yeah.
Shit, I'd take it through the Nintendo Switch online phone app.
that's what I mean.
You know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
something that
yeah.
like I could see some of this information on. Like
Yeah.
whatever.
Either way, it is cool, and it's like it's cool to look back. It's very like Big Brothery. They see you when you're sleeping, and they know when you're awake. But
There's just like, this is cool to see because we all talk about the games that we love the most.
Yeah.
But like to have the data supporting the games that we love the most to see if it matches up with
Yeah.
what we think in our heads, which is really fascinating. Like Lee talks about Pokemon, like Lee Howson, who was on our Video Games Bad For You episode. He like his top game was like Katamari.
Katamari Reroll. Yeah, yeah.
I was like, well, we talk about Pokemon more, but we don't talk about Katamari that
Yeah.
much. So
Yeah.
I find that
yeah, we should
fascinating.
use this for like demographic trends.
Yeah.
to like better.
Target our podcast.
Yeah, target. Yeah,
Yeah.
targeted advertising.
I got you.
Mine lined up with what I thought, except Odyssey was a lot higher than I thought. But
Well, you had to play it twice.
yeah,
you had to
well,
play it
I'd
again.
I don't think I had played it much. I think I beat it in 2018. You know what I mean,
Right.
or whatever. And then so that's why I was surprised. But yes, I realized it's because I played through it again.
There's some crazy stuff too, like that came to light for me from both this like end of year list and just us kind of like going over our favorite games of the year, where I realized like shit, those games did come out this year. Like this is a really packed game. Like I didn't realize Tetris 99 came out this year.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel like
right.
I've been playing that game for years. You know what I mean? But it's really just been a 2019 packed with 99 other players.
It came out in February.
February, yeah. I had to look that up today. I was like, holy shit, it's grown a lot.
Well, I think we'll take that as our transition into our main topic then, unless there's something else y'all want to say about end of the year stats.
No, I mean, I want to take this time to say have a holly jolly Christmas, y'all.
Yeah.
And, God is good.
We're going to talk about the best of 2019, the games that we like the most. And this is sort of some rules, I guess, we'll lay out, though maybe these will get broken. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. Rule number 1.
I would expect them to be broken.
This is going to be mostly Switch stuff. There's some categories for non-Switch stuff.
Or at least Nintendo.
Yes, yeah. Nintendo-related games. And then also 2019, we're trying to keep it to games that came out in 2019. Mm-hmm. Were there any other things? Oh, if it came out on the Switch in 2019, that counts.
Right, yeah. So yeah, there might be a game that was multi-plat earlier, but if it came out this year, then it's kind of in the running for a Golden Heads award.
So we didn't talk about the order of this, so I guess we'll just go in the order I have. We'll start with the big one.
Yeah, we can start in the order we have, and then we'll each kind of give our favorite for each category.
I think let's start with the big one then. What was the best Nintendo first-party or exclusive game of the year for you, Matt? You go first. I'm picking you.
Luigi's Mansion 3.
Hell yeah.
Nice. I can see it.
Yeah, mostly because it sucked up my time. And I just really enjoyed it so much. It was, I think I played it that first time maybe 7 or 8 hours straight.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Yeah, just had so much fun just finding the puzzles, finding the secrets. And the puzzle mechanics and gameplay mechanics were so slick, and the presentation and the music was all really great. And the runner-up would be Super Mario Maker 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely. I think out of any game that came out this year, I was the most surprised by Luigi's Mansion 3. I think, well, that and maybe another game, which I'll talk about here in a second. But I that was the amount of polish and just how charming and fun and kind of addicting the gameplay was, really took me off guard. It was a game I was not excited about at all. Really.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah. And I knew we'd be doing an episode on it. So it's well, I should play it. And then I was just really pleasantly surprised by the game. I'm really glad I played it.
That's why it's my Nintendo game of the year, because I didn't expect it. And they knocked it out of the park. Mm-hmm. I was so surprised.
Do you have any of your own thoughts on Luigi's Mansion 3?
No, I mean, it's my runner-up.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, let's go ahead and let's have you do your
Super Mario Maker 2.
Hell yeah.
I mean, the amount of hours I have gotten out of that game and that I can see still getting out of it.
Yeah.
It's I don't know if it's my top played hours-wise game of the year, but it's got to be number 2 if it's not, because I've got over 100 hours in it.
It's got a good bang for your buck.
Yeah, for me at least. And there was even a comment, I think, a month or two into it, my wife being like, "You really like this game?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess I do."
Well, I think that you also, what I love, you're the ideal Mario Maker player. You know what I mean? Because I think you like playing the levels, but you really like making levels.
Yes.
And that's what they want. You're creating content for them. You know what I mean? And it's cool.
And so I think, it's really funny too. It's I'm kind of jumping ahead here, but in terms of thinking about multiplayer game, I'm I have not touched the multiplayer aspect of this game at all. I've not played the verses.
Really?
I've played the verses.
The verses online.
I played the
really
verses
fun.
with y'all once.
Yeah.
And then on my own once. And all I do is mostly make levels and then play a few different people's levels. And sometimes I like to go in the new tab and clear new levels for some weird reason.
Yeah. Uncleared levels.
Just because they're randomly, you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, it could be a diamond.
And most of them suck.
Yeah.
But you're doing someone else a favor.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm also,
getting the ball rolling.
As somebody who makes levels a lot too, I'm very generous with my likes.
Oh yeah.
Because
I am too.
I make levels and I don't get very many likes, and that's fine. I'm not begging for them, but I'm man, you know what? That deserves a like. Even
I think there's no point in being stingy with your likes.
That's kind of how I feel too.
Or with your boos.
You mean being stingy with them? You should boo, or you?
Oh no, I think that you should be very liberal with both your likes and boos.
Cool.
You know what I mean? It's if a level sucks, it's also up to you to turn the community away from it. But you should really play the multiplayer. Versus Mario Maker Online, it's pretty annoying because of the lag.
Yeah.
But occasionally you'll get lag free levels, and even the lag levels can be fun because the suspense is heightened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's it's a completely different experience than any other Mario.
When we
Maker.
played, I sucked. And so I was I don't know if I'm very good at speeding through a level to beat these other people, but I just haven't done it much. So
it's fun, and it gives you a reason to speed run levels in Mario Maker. And when there's other people all trying to do the same thing. I think the most fun thing is like grabbing a shell when you're in first and like throwing it behind you and killing everyone behind you. Like it's so dirty, but it's like the best way to win. Well,
What you got?
So I had a couple. So really, I think that my number one would be Mario Maker 2. But I feel like I have to say at this point, I think Fire Emblem Three Houses like might have been my Nintendo game of the year. Like when I was really thinking about it and like the experience of playing the game, like Mario Maker 2 probably got more play from me, and I think I like overall enjoyed that game more. And then I also really enjoyed Luigi's Mansion, but like, and I think a lot of the reason I like it is because I was playing this game through with Sasha, my girlfriend, and like the process of playing this game and like talking over our decisions and like all the characters in the game, and they all have their own individual voice actors and everything. It just felt so fleshed out and real, and I just had real connections with these students that we were working with.
I thought about that game for this category too. But, it's a really great game.
Yeah, it's a great fucking game, and like I still haven't beaten it all the way, so like I could be totally let down by the ending, and that would change my opinion. But like, I will always treasure like sitting down and like going through battles and dialogue stuff with Sasha while playing this game. It was just like my personal favorite like Nintendo experience.
That's
like, having played this.
We were talking about this during the Game Awards thing too, of like the context matters. Like I feel that way about Luigi's Mansion 3 too. Like that's why part of it was so great is I played it with my son, and that was a really great experience. You played that with Sasha, it was a really great experience.
Yeah.
Like, we watched the Game Awards together, it made it better. Do things with people you love.
Yeah. Christmas time is here. But yeah, I would say personally, I think just the amount of care and depth and just work that clearly went into making that game, and it breathed a bunch of life into that franchise.
Yeah. And it was successful in the West, which I don't know has been historically as true as this.
It's at least the most successful one in the West, and it's now a more successful franchise in the West than it is in Japan. And
it's interesting.
And so I think, I think that game. That's another one that surprised me, probably not as much as Luigi's Mansion 3, but I was like pretty blown away by like the amount of content and care that went into making that game.
Just like traditionally, David, you didn't play a lot of like what Fire Emblem is, like strategy, dating simulator.
Yeah, really strategy games like I've never had much patience for. You know what I mean? I would say the other exception to that was Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. I also really enjoyed. So maybe I like strategy games now.
Yeah,
maybe I'm just getting older.
I kind of feel the same way.
Your palate's more refined.
Yeah. So the golden head for best Nintendo published game for me is going to be Fire Emblem Three Houses.
All right, let's move on. Best indie game that came out on the Switch. What do y'all got?
Untitled Goose Game.
Oh, nice. Going right out of the gate with the goose.
Yeah. the goose is out.
Untitled Goose Gate.
It's just down. The endless joy that game gave me in the game and outside the game.
That's a fair point.
Like, it just like took over the internet.
Were the goose heads for a while.
Yeah, we were goose heads.
We were goose heads. Like for like what, 60 days?
Because we had to be.
No, it was 28 days.
Okay, my bad.
It felt like 60 days.
Yeah. Just like it's such a short game. It's like maybe 6 hours or something.
I think it's less than that.
Yeah.
I think it's like 2 or 3 hours.
Is it really?
Yeah, but it's such a joyful playthrough. So that was my Untitled Goose Game, Golden Head indie game.
The Golden Goose.
The Golden Goose, yeah.
Just to piggyback off that, I just started playing this game, and I agree. It took it for me too.
Yeah.
Because I've only been playing it for a couple days now, but I'm playing it with I'll save this maybe for some of this for what we're playing because it comprises of that. But but I'm already like, yes, this might be the best indie game I've played this year. Mm-hmm. I guess
if you had to pick
something else, maybe Cuphead. I really didn't play that many indie games that came out.
What about like Wonder Song? I thought you said
that came out in last year.
Oh, right.
But I would, I would if I can say that, then that.
Fuck it, just say Wonder Song.
But. I was going to say Cuphead. I think that's one of the only other few indie games, and that's a super rewarding game to play as well. Like it's challenging, but it's doable, and it's easy to restart a level and all that kind of stuff. So that sense of accomplishment is there in Cuphead.
And that was an incredible port.
Yes, it plays great.
It feels like it was natively made for the Switch. You know what I mean? And it's like got to be somewhat taxing to render all that 2D animation and all those post effects and everything like that. Like, so I don't know how exactly they did it, but
great handheld game too. So I think I mostly played it in handheld. I need to go back and like play it more, but So
That's a great thing about indies is that they all feel very natural in handheld.
Yes,
you
yes.
know? Yeah. Cool. Well, I've got one and a runner up that both of them have been taken. So my indie game of the year has got to be Slay the Spire.
Oh, yeah.
I loved that game, and I'm still playing that game. I think it's fantastic. Like, it's again a game that's not usually my kind of game. Like, kind of card based games, kind of scare me a little bit. Like learning all these rule sets and having to memorize your deck and stuff like that. But that none of that is in this game. You know, like this game is very like pick up and play, and it's more like a card, like a deck building game, like Dominion. Have any of you guys ever played Dominion? It's like Dominion also sounds a little daunting at first, but then like you're learning the rules as you're playing. Every time the rules are different because like whatever cards you draw, right? And however you decide to build your deck. And it's very, very similar in this game where it's like every time you play, your strategy is completely different because you can go a completely different route. And then there's also great unlock systems as well. Like the more you win and the more points you get, the more like cards get added into the pool that you could potentially build decks out of. And so that ended up just being a really fantastic experience. And then again, another great game for handheld because this was originally a PC game and they gave it, you know, classic controller controls, but then also at any point you can just use the touchscreen as if it was on a PC, and it's seamless how it goes back and forth. Yeah, and I think there's another character coming out soon for Slay the Spire, so I'm really excited to jump back into that game and really put a lot more time into it. My runner-up would be Return of the Obra Dinn, which also is a game that just has like that's very unique and has an insane amount of polish, and I love that game as well.
Next category we've got here is best music. Best music or sound or anything related to that, maybe?
Yeah, it's sound design or music. Yeah.
What do y'all have for that?
I'll start on this one.
Yeah.
My number one has got to be Sayonara Wild Hearts.
Oh, nice.
That game was a sonic treat from start to finish. I also played that whole game with like really nice headphones on, which made it really effective for me. But yeah, it's the way that the gameplay and the music and the sound design and everything all kind of blends into one package that kind of just washes over you. It was, and it was just such a great like poppy score that like felt like something you would just hear on the radio, and it's something you would jam out to when you're not on drugs. And and yeah, I got to give it to Sayonara Wild Hearts. I love that game.
What about you?
I swear it's not going to be every category, but Mario Maker 2.
Oh yeah,
I love the music in this game.
It's because of the music levels, isn't it?
And well, there's new like Koji Kondo songs for like the different themes for games that didn't have them, and there's variations of the songs when you're making levels for each theme. And honestly, some of those are better than or maybe it's because you don't get to hear them as often.
Yeah.
But I love the music when you're making
maybe even chilled out
more
remixes. Yeah.
So I'm really into the music for that game. And I feel like I know I'm kind of splitting the baby here, but if we're talking about just music, it goes to that. But if we're talking about like other factors, in particular voice acting, Fire Emblem's voice acting, I thought was really great.
Yeah. If that was its own category, I would have hands down given it to Fire Emblem.
There's a couple.
I didn't really like the music in Fire Emblem.
Yeah, there are a couple characters. I can't think of all their names right off the top of my head that weren't as great, but most of the voice acting in Fire Emblem Three Houses is really great.
I thought it was all phenomenal. Yeah, I thought the three like main characters that you like, the three kind of heads of the houses, were all really strong. And then all the little ones, like their personalities came out in the voice acting. Like if there was no voice acting in that, I would like that game a lot less. Honestly.
I think it's Geralt. Your character's father is the only voice actor I didn't like. Who's also
really he's so like comforting.
Who's also the narrator, and the narration is great. That guy should stick to narrating.
I just like him when he goes, "The Holy Kingdom of Fargus."
Is that what they do with like cuts? Like
he does the narration of like the
every
chapter,
time there's a new chapter,
and be like summer moon, a windswept day, or whatever.
It's fantastic. It's just like I never expected a first party Nintendo game to have like 18 hours of voice acting or whatever. You know, it's like so much.
Yeah, that's something Atlas would do, but maybe not Nintendo.
Right.
That's cool. Exactly. Yeah. Fire Emblem Three Houses felt like a Persona game.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know? Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
Best music for me, Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, just having those remixes and the sound design and the cute little sound effects whenever you get a new item, or find an item, or find when you find her on the beach and you like pick her up.
Yeah, and she's singing the theme as you're walking around with her.
Yeah, the song of the Windfish.
I think my favorite Zelda song is in that game. It's Tall Heights is in that game, right?
I think so.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that was amazing, and it's like, and it felt fresh because it was all using real instruments, and it was clearly like recorded in a studio and not just using MIDI stuff. But then also so nostalgic. Like, like I didn't realize like how powerful the like main what's the main village called?
No, I don't know. I'm thinking of other Zelda games.
It's Mabe Village. Just like the bum bum ba da 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 bum bum ba. Like I didn't realize until I started playing that game that like that took me way back to my childhood. I guess that's my ASMR trigger. Mabe Village theme. One last little shout out I do want to give for best music is Astral Chain. Astral Chain had amazing music.
Actually, that's true. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah,
There's some good music in
it
that
was
game
bumping hard throughout that whole soundtrack. Like that's a soundtrack that I listen to like separately,
Do you
like
really?
while I'm working.
I haven't listened to it outside of the game.
I have, just like gone on YouTube and looked up the tracks from Astral Chain. Like,
That's tight.
Yeah, it's good. Kind of like again, music that kind of washes over you while you're doing other shit. Yeah, I absolutely adored it.
We got some like genre specific ones here. We'll start with multiplayer, and I guess we're going to distinguish multiplayer from like couch multiplayer. So maybe two categories there.
Yeah, like kind of online multiplayer and then kind of couch co-op or couch competitive.
We'll do those. So maybe we can give both of them at the same time, since they're sort of related. Online multiplayer, couch multiplayer. Who wants to go first?
Let's do online.
Online first?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go. I don't think this counts, and y'all can vote me down, but my main came out in 2019, so I'm saying Smash Ultimate.
Hell yeah.
Piranha Plant specifically.
It's funny. We'll get to why it's funny in a second.
Plant Gang over here.
Let's go ahead and count Smash because like Smash came out at the very end of last year.
Yeah, like
and
December.
Then, like maybe my actual like Nintendo game of the year would have been Smash.
Yeah, if we were saying that, it might
that.
have been for me.
But it's like, but I think for these multiplayer categories, it's okay because like of the growth of all the DLC and support it's gotten throughout the entire year.
Yeah,
It feels like a 2019
that's
game.
because I'm serious. The character I play is Piranha Plant, and I play Piranha Plant pretty much exclusively now, and that came out this year, so it counts for me. But that would be my online multiplayer game. I play that online at least a match or two most days.
Yeah. See, I didn't find myself playing online in Smash that much. I like did a little bit like when I was just out of the hospital, when I was like laying in bed a lot, I would play online matches quite a bit. But then, I think I just kind of fell off from Smash a little bit this year. I wish I'd played it more, but I do understand it's like the best Smash of all time.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Smash is my online game of the year.
Really?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I got the Elite Smash with Palutena and Bowser Jr.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I've never been able to get into Elite Smash, but I will get Plant and do Elite Smash. I'm getting closer. I am getting better and better, but that's one of my goals for next year.
It's a good goal.
I gotta say, my online multiplayer game of the year, I think this is gonna be no surprise to you guys, is Tetris 99.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I had to look and be like, oh shit, this did come out in 2019 because I've put so much time into it and I've played it so much. And like my personal growth in that game throughout the year has been very satisfying for me. Like, well, I say that I did win the very first match I ever played, but like nobody was good at that point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I won
one.
that. I won that based just on Tetris, like innate Tetris skill alone. You know what I mean? But then like learning all the kind of strategy elements of that game and like who to target and who to attack and when to defend, you know what I mean? And when to kind of like back off. That was something that was kind of a very communal thing with like the online community. Like there was no central hub.
Yeah, there's no explanation from the developers about
exactly
how to play the
right.
game.
Which at first bothered me, but then I started like looking into, Reddit posts and YouTube videos and like watching people, and it just felt like a very community centric game. And it's free for everybody who has Nintendo Switch Online. So it like I've never had an issue connecting or finding any games. It's always been instant as soon as I look. And that game, I mean, I'm very biased because I'm a big Tetris guy. I've loved Tetris my whole life, but like, I just feel like that game was made for me. You know what I mean? And shout out to Amir, who's a way higher level than I am. I don't know that I'll ever meet you where you're at on your level, but I'm getting there. I'm at level 69. Nice.
Ooh, nice.
But I do want to give a shout out just because we've been talking about it all year. Killer Queen Black is amazing online.
Yeah,
so
really
much
is.
fucking fun. That's kind of like a blend of like couch and online because it's really fun to play with people that you're with cooperatively and then go online. You know what I mean? So that experience for me was also very, very fun.
Well, that can take us into couch multiplayer.
Sure.
I am gonna put Luigi's Mansion here for me because playing that with my son was just the best like local co-op or multiplayer experience I've had. It was. He wanted to rush through the game, and so we didn't get all the gems or collect or beat all the booze, but we had a great time nonetheless.
Hell yeah.
If you ever need somebody to keep you focused on the next objective in a video game, get a
small child
who does not have patience for why are you collecting all that money? I need this money. Just give me more time.
Mosey on over to the small child store and pick up a little helper.
My couch co-op game of the year is any of the Jackbox collections.
Oh, nice.
So like I think 5 came out and then 6 came out. 6 came out in October of 2019. Mostly just because it allows non-gamers to play.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
And pretty much anyone can hop in, and people that haven't played those games are like they're super accessible.
Yeah,
like anyone can play, understand the rules or understand how to play, and they're competitive and like super simple.
Yeah. Honestly, Drawful 2 should probably be my pick.
Yeah.
Like now that you've said that, I'm
Drawful
like
2
realizing
is
like
great.
I've put so much time into Drawful 2. Like I've played Drawful 2 with several different friend groups and they always have a good time.
Yeah, it's so good.
That's a really good one.
In Jackbox Party Pack 5, there's T-shirt TKO, like TEEKO.
Okay.
And it's have you guys played this game?
No, that's where you like design a shirt.
You
right?
design a shirt and then you vote on the shirt. So you draw the image of the shirt and then you write out like phrases. And my buddy Paba you can buy these shirts at the end of the game, but he bought this shirt.
Oh, you can actually like, they'll print it.
Yeah, they'll print it. Yeah,
That's
that's how they
funny.
make some money. So my buddy Paba got this shirt of, it's like a llama looking backwards, and under it says "Come and take it." And it is the silliest shirt, and he'll wear it out, and people will be like, "Where did you get that shirt?"
Right, like they want their own copy.
Oh yeah, it's a shitty drawing of like a llama or some animal, and it says "Come and take it," and people talk about it and comment on it all the time.
Yeah.
It's the most ridiculous thing.
That's great.
And
Yeah, I think my
that
my
game's
best
crazy.
drawing I've ever done in Drawful 2 was Danny DeVito's On My Same Flight.
Really?
I think that's what it is.
What was the
Where it's like
drawing?
on the same flight as Danny DeVito. And so I just like, I just like drew myself looking over at a really shitty drawing of Danny DeVito, but everybody got it.
That's amazing.
Like I was like, damn, I am an artist. For me, the couch multiplayer game would be Smash, Super Smash Brothers. Again, just because of all the support it got over this year. Every time a new character would come out, everybody would be really excited about it. And playing Smash like at my work is a lot of fun. Like we have our own little like TV, and like basically the TV is only used for Smash. And it's like, and that's been a lot of fun over the past few weeks, like kind of getting to know my coworkers and like learning who's better than me and who I can beat. You know what I mean? That's been a blast for me. And then I also do want to give a little shout out to Lethal League Blaze. If you're looking for a really fun competitive fighter that is very pick up and play, Lethal League Blaze.
Dude,
I've had
I
a ton
love
of fun
Lethal
with this year.
League Blaze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A glorious game.
Yeah, it's like Pong, and I don't know.
It's like side-scrolling Windjammers.
Oh yeah,
You know, or like side-on Windjammers. Like it's a blast. It's so much fun.
Couple more genres before we move on to some other categories. Role playing game. What do we got for role playing games? Here, I'll go.
Yeah, I think you should go first.
I'm going to say Fire Emblem.
Yeah, that's what I figured you would say.
I'm not sure I played a lot of other role-playing games on the Switch, to be honest with you, but even if I had, or if I did, I don't remember them.
Right.
And that one is the one for me, so.
Did you ever end up doing a second playthrough, or did you just do the one?
No, I haven't, but I've been actually thinking about it. Especially if they end up dropping that DLC they end up dropping is meaty enough. I saved my game also at a branching path. One of them has a branching path, and so I'm going to probably just go back.
That's the Edelgard route.
Yeah, I'm going to probably go back and play the other branch of that sometime soon. That's what I was thinking. And then I did the podcast with Austin, so I feel like I've played his route. And I might
did Golden Deer,
and I
right?
might play the yes, correct. And I might play the other one at some point, but we'll see.
Oh, okay, to kind of get the whole story.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because I hear that really it's not like you have to do anything, but there are things that you learn from playing each one. Mm-hmm. So
that's great. Yeah, mine probably would have been Fire Emblem Three Houses, but since you took that one, and I also had it as another award on my list, I'm going to give the Golden Head for best role-playing game. And this is kind of cheating, but I'm going to give it to Final Fantasy IX.
It came out on the Switch this year.
Came out on the Switch this year. I'd never really played it. I'd gotten like 40 minutes into it, but this is like one of the first Final Fantasy games really ever that I've beaten 100%, and just like loved that story. And again, thought it was a great experience on the Switch. You know, it was like the little quality of life stuff that they added to that game where you can, speed up time, you can, max out your attack. So if you're just going to be grinding instead of wasting much time grinding, it like totally gets rid of that whole problem for me in games. It's kind of cheating, but like, it doesn't matter if you're still having fun. It's like the grinding. I just don't want to grind. So
you only cheat yourself.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I don't think that in a single player game, are you ever really cheating? I mean,
yeah.
You know what I mean? You're just making
if you're like a speedrunner, I guess maybe.
Yeah, which is kind of like a competitive thing then, right? So it's not even really like single player.
Yeah,
but
that makes sense.
I'm just very glad I did it, and I loved it so much that I ended up getting like 7 and 8 and 10 on my Switch as well, which I'm also looking forward to diving into at some point soon. Yeah, that would be my pick. What about you, Matt?
I don't think I have a pick for this.
Did you play any role-playing games on the Switch?
I guess Astral Chain is an action RPG.
Yeah, I guess you could kind of say you can kind of level up in it.
Yeah, on my list it was Kingdom Hearts 3.
I think that's fair.
Let's go with Kingdom Hearts 3 for this one.
Okay.
For the Switch.
Yeah, because it came out in January and I played it on Xbox and it was pretty good.
Yeah. I think we would be remiss if we didn't mention Dragon Quest XI, which is apparently one of the best RPGs ever made, but none of us did play that.
Can we say the full name of Dragon Quest XI? Elements of the Elusive
Age.
Echoes of an Elusive Age, Definitive Edition S.
What about platformer? We got platformer on here. Does anybody have anything other than Mario Maker 2?
Yeah, I do.
Because for me, it's Mario Maker 2, yo. I can't think of a platformer that came out this year better than that.
Well, it's like, Mario Maker 2, I almost don't even it is a platformer. You know what I mean? But it's like, when I think of like best platformer of the year, like I think of Mario Maker 2 as more of a platform than a platformer, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like for me, my best platformer of the year was Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair.
I haven't played that yet.
Yeah, that is a criminally underrated game. And it's like, it's a game made by the original creators of Donkey Kong Country. You know what I mean? It's like recently I was watching a bunch of interviews and videos for the 25th anniversary of Donkey Kong Country. And at the end of it, each of them was like, hey, everybody, please play Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. And it's like, really, it is this whole original team, and it's them with like 25 years of experience under their belt, like making these kinds of games. And it really shows. It's just got so much polish and it's so dense. And the secrets to find are so much fun. It was my platformer of the year for sure. I really enjoyed that game.
That game is Yooka-Laylee and Impossible Lair. Yooka-Laylee and Impossible Lair. Yooka-Laylee and Impossible Lair. Just so everyone plays it.
We're gaslighting people into buying it.
Worth it because it's a great game, and I've been meaning to play it.
Yeah, it's on sale right now. So check it out. Yeah. What about you, Matt?
Super Mario Maker 2.
Hell yeah.
I was trying to think like what other platformers came out this year that I played, and there's a few, but I still want to give it to Mario Maker 2.
I want to give a shout out to Katana Zero. I don't know if you could really call it a platformer, but it is like a side-scrolling 2D game. Like I think a platformer is just like side-scrolling games that you would use a D-pad for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think Katana Zero also was up there for me, even though that's a recent one. Yeah.
We've got a couple categories here that are specific to each of us, so we're going to all do one. Things that maybe we play, the others don't so much. So, David, we've got a puzzle game here for you because I don't really play very much puzzle games. And I tried to think of this. I don't know that I actually have played a couple, but not enough to want to award anybody.
Right.
What do you got for puzzle game of the year?
Again, this is probably no big surprise, but Picross S3. Absolutely fantastic game that like I still haven't beat. Like I play that.
You got a lot of hours into it though, right?
Yeah, I probably put like 50, 60 hours into it, and there's still puzzles for me to do because it's basically you've got the normal Picross mode, which is just a blast always. And it's like a good little logic puzzle that doesn't take too long to finish. Like sometimes I'll play a Sudoku level for like, or the Sudoku puzzle for like an hour before I can finish it because it's just so hard. Like I think at the max, even the biggest puzzles in this will take you about 20 minutes max. And usually you can beat them in like 7 to 15, something like that. So it's great little bite-sized Switch style gameplay. And then in addition to the normal Picross puzzles, you have Color Picross, which is kind of a new mode that was taken from Pick-a-Pix Deluxe. And that's also awesome and kind of bends your brain in a different way. There was like the Clip Picross where you're like doing a bunch of little puzzles to make a bigger image, which is really nice. And then also the thing that I'm currently going through is like, I think it's called Mega Picross, which is basically taking Picross, but then occasionally taking two of the kind of lanes that you play on and combining them into one. So it's just, and you're doing all the same puzzles again, but with this new kind of rule set. And it just is the gift that keeps giving. And then if you like this game, there's also Picross S and Picross S2. And there's just no shortage of these games on the Switch, but there will always be a Picross game in my top played of the year, pretty much.
Yeah.
Every year.
Like Picross 3 was Amanda Bird's top played game of the year.
Yeah. I think she just did the original Picross S, so she's got a lot of Picross ahead of her. She continues with the franchise. But yeah, Jupiter, like there are a lot of Picross clones, but the Jupiter made Picross games that are like published by Nintendo are like second to none. They're so good.
Cool. Matt, you are a resident VR expert. So your category is to tell us what the best VR game that you played.
And why is it Resident Evil 7?
That game is great.
Oh yeah.
It is not Resident Evil 7. I think that
was last year.
Yeah, that was last year. I think Blade and Sorcery maybe came out last year, but I played it this year, and it is my VR game of the year.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about that one. I don't know if I've heard you talk about that.
It is an early access game on Steam. It's a first-person sword-based fighter that like really excels on Valve Index that can like see your fingers and control your fingers, and with like slow-mo. And with mods, having lightsabers. Like in Blade and Sorcery, I was playing it last night with some friends, and a friend got Kylo Ren's lightsaber, Cloud's Buster sword,
oh my god,
and a baseball bat.
So it's like the Super Smash Brothers of VR, first person.
Oh, totally, yeah.
First person melee combat.
Yeah. Yeah. While I was playing it and watching a friend play the version that I play, like, you know, on a weekly basis, it was my first realization. I was like, oh man, this is the most weeb thing. I was like, oh, it's so nerdy.
Yeah, dude, I can imagine holding Cloud's Buster sword feeling really cool.
Yeah, dude, it's huge, and it's such a fun, like weirdly satisfying game that it feels like the future of VR. Like even within the next 2-3 years, it's gonna be crazy.
Hell yeah, yeah! I can't wait to play. I can't wait for VR to go more mainstream. But the question is, will it ever? And that's maybe a conversation we should have on a different podcast. But
I think it's pretty soon because like Valve announced Half-Life, and then within like a couple of days, they sold out of their Valve Index, their $1,000 VR headset. Right. And they sold out. And
that's the PC Master Race coming out for Valve.
Oh, yeah. It totally is.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's great.
My specific category is best game to play with a small child, and I'm going to kind of explain.
Well, I thought that was my category.
You guys just got to go to the store and get one. And this is Luigi's Mansion 3, and I want to give an honorable mention to Unravel 2, which came to the Switch this year. And I think the reasoning for both of these games is they're both the aesthetic for both of them is child friendly. They're both E games.
Right.
And you don't think about, as an adult, you don't really think about game ratings. But when I had my 3-year-old play, like even E10 rated games, he'd be like, let's kill. And you're like, whoa, okay. Maybe we should play games. Like he's in the bathtub, let's kill them. And I'm like, okay, that's fucked up. Year 3.
So there's no killing in Unravel 2.
Yeah, there's no killing in either of these games. I mean, you're sucking up ghosts, but whatever.
They're already
Luigi's
dead.
Mansion, yeah.
Yeah.
I think both of these games have this mechanic where the second player can rely on the first player to move them forward. And when I'm playing a game with my son who can barely hold a controller in his hands, and like, when you're like he's actually gotten 1,000,000 times better, but like press the A button, has to look down and then move his hand because he was positioned elsewhere to press a different button.
Right.
Like we can play these games together and he can get better at playing without frustration. And I think he maybe more than other people gets frustrated easily, maybe than other children that age. But so they're both really great because in Unravel you can just pull the other person along.
Right. Yeah.
So like I can do the puzzle and then he can just climb up the rope. And then occasionally he could get better at it and doing things. So both those games have that mechanic. I'm looking for more games like that, actually.
Yeah.
I think I've heard Trine is kind of like that.
Trine is kind of like that. It's a lot more complicated.
Yeah.
Because like each character has their own unique abilities.
Right.
But that having been said, like the original Trine I had a ton of fun with, and I played with some other people as well. It was a blast.
But games where like I can do everything by switching characters, but he can still do some things, or what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so those would be my that would be my game. Luigi's Mansion 3 was just so great with him. We got a couple other things here. Let's go through them. Best non-2019 game played this year. We've maybe already dipped into this a little bit, but since we were limiting this mostly to 2019 games, is there anything you played this year that shines through?
There are a few games that I played for this podcast. So I'm thinking like Gorogoa.
Oh yeah. That's a good game.
That it's a beautiful
Very short,
puzzle
but
game,
very-
very short, great experience. Everything was incredible to play.
We played those for the same episode.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and Hollow Knight.
Yeah, Hollow Knight is incredible. That's like de facto Metroidvania on the Switch right now, I think. Yeah.
What about you?
For me, I think the one, and I wasn't saying this isn't necessarily like the best non-2019 game I played this year, but the one that kind of like I put a lot of time into and really surprised me was Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. I played the first of the trilogy to this year. I'm looking forward to playing the second two as well. But I had totally missed those games when they originally came out in like 2003 or whatever. They've been out for a while. But I had such a blast, and it's like, yeah, again, like that kind of visual novel style game has never interested me, but I wanted to give this one a chance, and I found it very entertaining. And it was also a game that was fun to play with others around. Like I played a little bit of that with my sister and a little bit of that with Sasha, and like just hearing them shit on the big tittied anime girls was fun enough in itself. But then I found like the kind of mystery of it to be really satisfying, and then kind of playing as a defense attorney is also like was surprisingly fun, and I really enjoyed my time.
Cool. I've never played those. I'm
Phoenix
gonna have to
Wright.
check out one of those.
It's worth playing. I actually think you would like it quite a bit, Patrick. Yeah.
This is where I was going to put Wonder Song. I played Wonder Song
Right.
this year. It came out last year. Indie game where you play as a bard, and there's lots of violence going around, but you save the world through music. It's really, really charming. I really can't recommend it enough. About a 10-hour game, so it's not a big investment.
Yeah, I've had that downloaded on my Switch for a while, but I've not played it.
Subverts some nice video game tropes and has some really interesting gameplay mechanics.
Yeah.
So
And man, there are just so many indie games that I played this year too that I would love to talk about, where we just don't really have time.
That's fair.
But like, yeah, this has been a fantastic year this is a great time to be a Switch owner, because there's like
everything's on it now.
6,000 games on the Switch or something ridiculous like that. And there's something for everybody.
Yeah, I think maybe moving on to the next section where we talk about other 2019 reflections of gaming, and that was my reflection of 2019 in general. Was like, there are so many good games out this year that I just didn't have the time to play.
Yeah. Tell me some of those that you want to play.
I have there's a lot of them. Jedi Fallen Order, the great Star Wars Dark Souls game.
Mm-hmm.
Baba Is You, a puzzle game. Outer Wilds, Sekiro, Disco Elysium, Resident Evil 2, Telling Lies, Hypnospace Outlaw, and the new game from the Katamari guy.
Watam. Yeah.
Watam. Like, these are all games that like had great reviews that are like cross-platform or on PC. But it's just like, I want to play, but I don't have time to play them.
We find ourselves in a time in society in general where there's just so much shit.
Yeah, there's so much content.
I mean? Yeah. And so, yeah, be it like Netflix shows or what, like The Witcher just came out. I have not had a moment to watch that yet. But it's like,
books, movies, music, games. You could spend the rest of your life just picking one of those and listen to the best of that you've never heard, you know?
Yeah. I feel like Anakin Skywalker. I want to be the first one to play them all.
Well,
one reference.
Are there any non-Switch games that you want to recognize that like you played on a different platform? I was thinking about this. I don't think I have any. I think the only game that's not on the Switch I played a little bit of Last of Us remastered on PS4, and so that has to be that, I guess. I played some PC games at my cousin's, but only a tiny bit here and there. So I don't know. I don't really have much, but maybe you have a non-Switch game.
Control.
Control
would be yours. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You can get Control if you have a PC, even like my PC's like 3 or 4 years old, and it still played at pretty low quality.
Yeah.
But it still played fine. It was a great game. Play with headphones because the sound design's amazing.
Yeah.
What about you, David?
My best non-Switch game would probably be WarioWare Gold for the 3DS this year. That was like the last
Nintendo.
Yeah, that was my last like 3DS purchase that I made, and I did it like earlier this year. And I'm just a really big WarioWare fan, and I'm especially a WarioWare Twisted fan. And they have like all these mini games from WarioWare Twisted in it, and it was so much fun to play. It was like the one thing that had me dusting off my old 3DS this year. Was that game. I also, Jordan Willis, who's been on the show, did let me borrow his copy of Samus Returns, which I have not played yet. Sorry, Jordan. I'll get that to you at some point. Hopefully it comes out on the Switch before that and I could just give it back to you and buy my own copy. But yeah, WarioWare Gold, if you have a 3DS, which I imagine a lot of you listening to this still have one somewhere, it's definitely worth picking up and dusting off the system for. It was just a blast. I played it through like 100% and love the shit out of that game. Yeah, really recommend it.
Cool. Well, then, yeah, we'll get into what you were just kind of getting at, Matt. What are some of our gaming moments of the year or other, personal 2019 Nintendo gaming reflections? Yeah, I think it kind of falls in the same category. I think this podcast came out this year.
Yeah.
We started doing this podcast this year, so that's a big thing for probably all of us, I'd like to think. But for me, at least, it has connected me with lots of other gamers, both in real life and online, and that's been really awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Probably watching the Game Awards. Was
I know, that was recent, but that was kind of on my list.
That was such a great highlight. Yeah. And getting everybody together from this group. I mean, not everybody, obviously.
Yeah, but a handful of people.
Yeah. There was like 15, 16 people there from this group, like all getting together and watching that. That was so much fun.
Yeah. I think, Patrick, you were saying this last episode. Like, I never really watched the Game Awards.
Yeah.
I don't watch awards shows in general.
Right.
But this one, I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
Well, I think watching it with a group of people, like we said this again, but just the people that have all had different experiences so that everybody could connect with it in different ways. And yeah, it was so much fun.
Yeah, I loved it. I would say this is going to be very circle jerky because my gaming moment of the year, I think for me, also has to do with this podcast. And it's when I was in the hospital this year, and we were like, and I was like, I don't want to not do the podcast. And I think we recorded an episode of the podcast right before my surgery. And then I was like in for a while, or I was in for like a week, but then we didn't miss one. It was like the following week, you guys brought all the equipment to like the inpatient, like hospital facility where I was. And we did like an E3 predictions episode, and then E3 happened, which is always an exciting gaming moment. And I felt weird because I was in the hospital for this moment. All right, you want to be able to connect with people, and I wasn't really able to. But then you guys coming back and bringing the equipment back into the hospital again to record like our E3 reactions episode. Those were just really, really special moments. And that's when I kind of realized like how special I think this podcast is and like how much of a great time I've had this year doing this podcast with you guys. Cause it was like, damn, like if there's ever going to be a time where you're going to miss an episode, like being in the hospital is a good reason to miss it. And then also just seeing all like the hospital staff watching you guys bring in all that equipment.
We try to like sneak it in.
Yeah. And I'm in my wheelchair, like trying to put up signs to stop people from coming in the room as we're recording. Like I will cherish that memory for a very long time. And E3 was just a really fun time to be a Nintendo fan.
Yeah. I remember like loading up the equipment to bring it to the hospital that you were in. And I was like, what are people going to think when we bring up like all of this equipment?
I was totally worried because I, work at a law firm and coming from like they might not, if they see us with all this, they might be like, sorry, you can't, whatever weird liability there might be, I can't,
You might accidentally record something.
Yeah, exactly. Any HIPAA violation.
It was a really good idea, I think, to like set up our surveillance system within the hospital as well, so I could spy on my neighbors. That was a good call, guys. Just kidding, we didn't do that. But that would be my personal like top gaming related memory for me for 2019. That was a very, very special time.
Nice.
That and I would say also Sasha getting her Switch Lite and us sitting on the couch, each playing our own Switches. Like that's a really nice moment as well. Yeah.
I got to play through Fire Emblem with my friend Austin and talk about it regularly. That was a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun playing Smash in person with people and playing online too. So it's been a lot of great times this year.
Yeah.
I think that unless y'all have anything else to add about 2019 year in review, I think that wraps it up for us.
Do you guys like have a game of the year? Like overall?
More beyond Nintendo?
Yeah, not necessarily like, it doesn't have to not be Nintendo, but like, is there like, I mean, I guess for you it would be Control, or would you?
Man, this is so hard to say.
Yeah.
I think when I'm thinking of game of the year, it's a game that has like sustained my enjoyment or joy or connecting with other people is how I'm measuring game of the year.
Yeah.
Control continues to blow my mind the more I think about it.
Right.
But I think overall, the game that connected me to people more and has allowed me to enjoy that game even when I'm not playing it is Untitled Goose Game.
Yeah.
Just because it's like it's a simple game and it blew up social media. It blew up Super Switch Headz and tons of people were playing it. It's like $15.
Yeah.
And just the sheer amount of value that provided while you're playing it and outside of games, it was like probably my game of the year.
Yeah. I didn't expect to say this going into this because I wasn't sure if we were counting or not, but it's got to be Smash for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I really do think it's like overall, like you were saying culturally, like it just blew the fuck up.
Following all the leaks.
And following all the leaks was so fun.
Still fun.
Yeah. Like anytime there's a new fighter announced
next year.
Yeah. It was so hype every time something new was announced. Like, so yeah, I think probably ultimately it would be that, even though it's technically a 2018 game, like really you could argue it's like the support for that game has been throughout.
I'm in the same boat. I get together with Austin and get together with my cousin Vincent and play Smash regularly. I play online, like I said, a couple matches almost every day. And I follow the leaks, so that might be it. And if it's not, that doesn't count, which whatever, it's our own rules, then I would say Mario Maker for the same reason. I've been, you play my levels, that makes me happy. 2 kids in a big coat play them. I've made levels for other streamers, and so there's that, and it's sustained, like you're talking about, and community oriented. That's an interesting thing. And I just started playing Untitled Goose Game, but I'm playing it with my family. And then maybe this can kind of we can take a quick break but this might kind of transition us into what we've been playing if we're done with
yeah. Let's just I just want to say before we move on to what we're playing, just a big thank you to all our listeners who have stuck with us this year. And if you have some of your favorite games from any of these categories, we'd love to hear what those are. If you can take a break from eating turkey with your fam, we'd love to hear your favorite experiences this year, because there were so many, and this was just like overall a fantastic year for gaming, but I think especially Nintendo. I think with
totally.
with Xbox and PlayStation kind of on the way out, this was really Nintendo's year to shine. And yeah, I was looking back over the list of games that came out just this year, and I was like, holy shit! Like I even forgot about Astral Chain until I looked back, and I was like, man, Astral Chain came out this year. Like all this, even Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe came out in January. Like,
and Yoshi, which isn't that great, but I also played through that with my son, and I think it made him a better gamer. Another like good co-op with a kid game.
So it's just been a great year, and it's been a great year for our first year of doing this podcast. And we started early in the year, so it really feels like this year was like defined by Super Switch Headz for me personally.
Yeah, totally.
So
Four
thank
more
you to all our
years.
listeners.
Four more years.
4 more years, and then we'll change to just Super Game Heads, because we should probably branch out at some point. We'll run out of topics, but yeah, special thanks to you guys, and then we'll go ahead and move on to the next segment.
Cool. I'm going to start because we're talking about what games we've been playing, and I was just kind of talking about it. I just bought Untitled Goose Game the other day, and we'd actually been talking about it as a family because after Magnus and I beat, my son and I beat Unravel 2, I was like, well, what should we play next? And I kind of hinted at this, like I can't just play any game, and I feel weird playing games with too much violence. So I was like, maybe we should play Untitled Goose Game. It's only a single player game, and then my wife watched the trailer with us, and she's like, well, I want to be part of that too. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. This will be our Christmas break game. We'll download it, and we downloaded it the other day and started playing it. And just passing the controller around. My wife is always resistant to playing games, and she's like, I'm just not that good at the puzzles. But she's been the one being like, well, pick up the walkie-talkie and honk through it. And I'm like, of course, that's why they're there.
I saw her post about it on Facebook. Like she was so excited about it. She was posting about it like publicly on Facebook. I thought that was pretty cool.
And she's better at it than she gives herself credit for. So maybe this will transition her a little bit. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Maybe you can play as the Blue Lions, as a family.
Yeah. Date, what's his name? Yeah. Dimitri. Maybe that'll get her into it.
I'll go next because I don't really have too much new stuff. I've been playing some more of those free Cubic games that have come out. Race Die Run just came out today, so I've been playing that one. It's very basic, kind of like a slalom game, where you're going really fast and you just have to like avoid stuff, but kind of scratches a little bit of that F-Zero vibe that I'm always looking for in a game. And then other than that, I've really put a lot of time into Picross S3 this week, and just kind of like making my way through those Mega Picross puzzles, and then of course been making my way through Katana Zero as well. Really fantastic game. What about you, Matt?
I beat Boneworks. I talked about it in the last episode. First-person shooter VR game.
Is it pretty short, long? I'm always curious about those VR games.
Yeah, it's about 10 or 11 hours, so like a normal first-person shooter game. The thing that I was not prepared for is this is all over Reddit. Because it's so physics based, you can pick up and interact with everything when you climb ladders or when you're moving, any kind of movement at all, vertical or horizontal. Like I got nauseous. And
that's uncommon for you playing VR?
Well, it's uncommon because with like VR, you have smooth locomotion. Like when you're a first person shooter, you push forward and then you move.
Right.
But sometimes in VR games, you have like a teleport option to combat the nausea.
Right.
Because your body's not moving, but your brain thinks it's moving.
So are you standing when you're playing this game?
Yeah, I'm standing.
So I bet standing with smooth locomotion would be worse on your brain than sitting with smooth locomotion.
Exactly. Yeah. But the great thing about Boneworks is that you should be standing because you're like ducking down and interacting, grabbing things. You're like picking up a coffee cup from a table and throwing it across the room, or like trying to do jerk off motions with your hand. Because that's what
that age-old tradition.
Yeah. But this game was so much fun, and it's very like Valve-esque, like Portal or Half-Life, and the story was great, and just like the future of VR is, man, it feels really close.
Yeah. I mean, the Oculus Quest is really helping there a lot. I think that's getting VR into the hands of a lot of people that would never use it before.
Yeah, and it's like wireless.
Yeah, the wireless thing is a game changer.
Yeah. Pop it up, give it to a friend.
That having been said, I do own a Quest and I've barely played it. So it's hard for me to sit down and do it.
I forgot to mention this, and it's complete opposite of VR, but I've been playing a lot of Box Boy and Box Girl.
Oh, hey, that should be your puzzle game of the year.
Yeah, well, I think it has to be. It's like the only one I played. Which I fired up because I had beaten Hyper Light Drifter, and my wife was watching a show that I don't watch, but I wanted to be sitting next to her and kind of watch it. No, it's actually Watchmen, and I would totally be down to watch it, but she's already started it, and so like we have this problem a lot because she watches more TV than I do, and I was like, well, watch that show with me, and she's like, well, if you ever sit down and watch a show with me, then I will, and I'm like, all right.
And I need your full attention, not your nose and your Switch.
Exactly. So I was like, I don't want to pay too much attention. And it's a great game for that situation because it's pretty easy and you can just do a room and knock it out. So
I heard the echoes of Super Switch Headz across the globe being like, "Oh yeah, my girlfriend, my partner, that was me too."
Well, I guess that just about does it for the show, huh?
Yeah, that does. Unfortunately, because we recorded this early, we did not get to play the Disney Tsum Tsum Festival.
Right, that's right. We were going to
So
make it
sorry.
this week, and we didn't have time.
It's Christmas, and we had to record early, so sorry to Chris. We didn't play Disney Tsum Tsum Festival.
We'll get that next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'll load it up.
All right.
I'll play up.
All right, yeah. We'll see how it goes.
Maybe. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Thanks to Corduroy for doing the music. Check out, like David said, send us a message if you got any thoughts on anything we talked about. Find us. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. Either Super Switch Headz or Switch Headz with a Z. Email is superswitchheadz@gmail.com. If you want to find me personally, I am PDYX.
I'm on Twitter, Matthew, MATHYOU.
I am everywhere on the internet at Monolith Fiji. Everybody, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I hope you had a very Merry Christmas. If that's your cup of tea, I mean, it is Christmas Day if you're listening to this when it comes out.
Have a great holidays.
Yeah, have a great holidays from us here at the Super Switch Headz house to you. That's right, we do all live together,
Yeah.
much to our significant other's disdain. But I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Next week, we're going to have our kind of second special episode where we're going to be going all over. This is our 2019 episode. Next week, we're going to be talking about everything we want to see from Nintendo in 2020. So make sure you listen to that episode next week. We promise it'll be just as fun as this one was, hopefully. If not more so.
Promises.
We got the promise of Juicy Speck, at least, on the next episode. Thank you, everybody, so much. Again, have a happy holidays. We'll see you guys next week. We love you. Bye-bye.